Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Hi, thank you for opening the door. Yes, please. That was like the taxi driver. What was it? Germany, right?
Do you know where the Corner Dome is? Yes, please.
Yes, please. The answer in Germany was yes, please.
For everything.
I guess
when you didn't know English, yeah.
Well, when they didn't know English, but we can't rip on them because we don't know any other language.
I don't know any other language.
So we don't even have the ability to speak or attempt to speak. I mean, all I got is like 9. How many times did I say 9?
You said it like every single time you saw a German.
No, I didn't say it every time I saw a German.
You pretty much did.
No, that would have been very wrong.
I feel like you said it a lot of times.
But I only said it when it was appropriate to say 9. And then I was counting to 9.
Yeah, and then you did count to 9
I was like
a lot.
counting. I was like 7, 8, 9. And you're like, can you just say it normally? I'm like, 9?
Yeah, you always said it in that accent.
1, 8, 9.
9.
What a long trip.
That was a long trip.
But
Long
it
and
wasn't
exhausting trip.
It wasn't too long.
No, it wasn't too long. It was, I mean, we jam-packed a lot of stuff every day. It could have been definitely longer and more relaxing, I would say.
I don't want relaxing. I get bored.
You get bored extremely easily, yes.
Yeah, I would have gotten really bored. I think a day and
then you
a
would
half.
have been in a bad mood, and then it would have been making me a bad mood.
I wasn't in a bad mood at all.
There was a couple times where I could say you were in a bad mood.
Where?
Like food, when you wanted food.
Food's a different subject.
But still, you're still in a bad mood, though.
I wasn't in a bad... No, honestly, I wasn't in a bad mood.
When we walked around for like 2 hours.
I wasn't in a bad mood. I was just looking for...
I perceived it as a bad mood.
I was just quiet, looking for a place to eat.
Oh.
Really?
I was in a bad mood.
You were?
Because it was 10 o'clock at night and we were running around for 3 hours trying to find a place for you to eat.
In Germany, all they have is pig.
I know. I understand why you... Yeah, why.
But I also know I got the gut feeling about that first restaurant we sat in. Well, not the pizza place. I would have enjoyed... That would have been fine.
Yeah.
The pizza, but...
The other... No, I don't think I would have liked anything from there either.
That like, Western style... Like a cowboy type place.
That place I would have ate from.
No, I called shenanigans on that one. I just got that feeling that it was too...
We were at 3 restaurants before we finally picked the one we ate at.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this thing, all right? Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk episode number 103, I believe.
103.
Last week, we weren't here.
Yes.
We were traveling, so we took a week off from RAWtalk because...
First time ever, we actually took a full week off.
Yeah, if we came... You also... Everybody has to know that you got home, and then you actually had a family vacation that you missed most of.
Yeah.
But you got home, and you went right to the family vacation. We could have squeezed in on the weekend, or somewhere. We could have probably squeezed it in if we wanted to rush and do all of that, but it didn't make sense. Didn't make sense to rush through it and do a RAWtalk, and then... You had to do your family thing.
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
got a nice day and a half of that.
We could have also recorded Monday or Tuesday, but then there was other editing to get done.
All the Photokina videos.
Right. And it just made sense to just give it a week and then have you guys anticipate a really big show.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a big show. This is a long
There's so much to talk
show.
about.
There's a lot to talk about. We have a lot of photo news from a couple weeks back.
Well, I'm trying not to go too far back, but yeah, we do have photo news.
We've got why we were in Poland, why we were in Germany, what we did while we were in all those locations. So it's more than just the photo stuff. It's the personal stuff, what we were doing there, and the experiences that we had, which I think everybody will be interested in because it's the world.
Yeah.
It's interesting to find out about the world. We do have Wheel of Fro at the end, which I almost forgot.
Wait, do we know who we're picking?
I did. I picked the person.
Oh, okay. Is it who I think you're gonna pick?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
I thought we already talked about it.
I don't think you actually told me you were definitely picking them.
It's right here on the list.
Move on.
That's on the list.
I don't see the list. I don't have the list.
It's right there.
There, now I see.
There's some gear of the week. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about from Photokina and basically the stories. But before we jump into all that, we're talking about the Atomos contest because we're giving away a Ninja. Atomos and us people are giving away an Atomos Ninja Star. That's right. A ninja. Where's your hat?
I don't know. I don't know where the hat is.
I forgot
Jared.
Sutter was here. I got used to us just being you and I.
That was only like 1 week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I forgot about Sutter.
I mean, it's been like, I guess, what, 3 weeks since Sutter's been here?
It has been.
It's been 2 weeks
but
since we've been here.
People were asking about him. They'd come around and be like, Sutter.
Yeah, we did
Remember,
have
like-
a bunch of people ask about you in
That's
in
cool.
Germany.
That's really neat, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "Where's Sutter? You didn't bring Sutter? No, we couldn't fit him in the carry-on.
And they said, "Did you bring his
You
hat?"
probably could have.
Probably could have folded you up." I
Put him
forgot
in
to
a-
ask, how are you doing?
I'm doing swell. How about you guys? Sounds good.
Swell.
Trips went swell.
When is your sex change operation?
Probably next Tuesday.
Tell everybody about your operation.
I'm getting a tonsillectomy next Tuesday.
Does that mean you get to eat a lot of ice cream?
Yes.
Lieutenant Dan, ice
Ice
cream.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, lots of ice cream, cold, soft foods, and that's about it for the next 2 weeks after.
So you're going to
today.
lose some more weight.
Hopefully not. I don't think I have much to lose.
How much do you weigh anyway? if you don't mind?
115, 120.
Wow.
And
I don't
that's
think
why-
I've weighed that since like 6th grade.
Well, and that's why his girlfriend weighs 94.
Probably somewhere in there.
Wow.
We could just throw her. It'd be like fun. All right. Anyway, before I got sidetracked by you, we're talking about the Atomos Ninja Star contest. This is a great little device that we still haven't tried. We haven't put it
have
on
it.
anything. We still have it. We have the CFast card, which I did run into one of the Atomos guys going to the bathroom at the Fronos Photo meetup
He
in
was
Cologne.
he was in the Canon booth, I think, when we saw him.
Well, this was a different guy.
Oh, this is a different guy?
This was another guy.
Oh, okay.
This was an Australian.
They were running around everywhere.
But he was in the bath. We were going to the bathroom. He stopped me, and we had a discussion. And I asked about why the CFast. And he's like, "It's where everything's going." And we had the architecture already set up with the circuitry and stuff.
Wasn't it for 4K, I thought, mainly?
Well, that
'Cause
doesn't
that can
do
handle
4K.
the transfer?
It just had to do with where the future is going. It's going to get there. It's just a little bit of a transition period, but it's had more to do with the way that the architecture and circuitry was already there.
Gotcha.
Like they already had that whole thing put together for the other one, so it made the transition easy. But this is a cool little device, and Atomos wanted to do a giveaway with a contest. I finally came up with the contest rules, so listen to this. You must make a 1 to 3 minute long video. It could be a skit. It can be comedy. I need to read my notes. It could be stop motion, because I know somebody was asking about that the last time we teased that we were going to do this. So yes, anything that relates to it being a video, but it must include something ninja related. Because it's a ninja star. I want to see something ninja related. That's also a way that we know that it's done for this contest.
And it
Because-
wasn't done prior. Or,
Right. Wasn't done prior. Richard Pryor. Be creative. Be creative. Right?
Yes.
Sure.
That's like be aggressive. Be. It's from Jock Jams.
I had no idea what you're referencing there.
Jock Jams.
Yes, I know.
You knew?
Yes.
Jock Jams. Ladies and gentlemen. I can't say that. I'll get sued by Michael Buffer. So it has to be ninja related. Be creative. And I need you to upload your videos to YouTube. You can keep them. Unlisted if you don't want people to see them, but they need to be able to send us a link. So email jared@fronosphoto.com with the subject line Atomos Ninja Star Contest. Be sure to include the video link to your YouTube video, your name, address, phone number, and the contest is going to end November 31st. That means they must be in by November 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be part of the judging to possibly win this contest.
Does it have to be YouTube or can it be Vimeo or
It can be
something else?
Vimeo. It can be anywhere you store videos.
Okay.
Just so that you get it. Don't attempt to send us a video, but you have to. This information will be on the site. I'm going to make a separate video about the Ninja Star contest, or we could just use this. Or I'll just make
whatever.
a separate video.
Yeah.
But this is the contest. It's fun. You guys have the ability to do this. I don't care your skill level. I don't care where you live in the world. It's open to everybody, every age. Restrictions may apply. What those are, I don't know, because I didn't make them up yet. But they're open to everybody, and you can be from anywhere in the world, because that's always the question. Is this open outside of the... Yes. Yes, it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Good luck. Come up with something creative. What do you need to be, Sutter?
Aggressive.
No.
Creative.
Creative. Be creative. And that, my friends, is the Atomos Ninja Star Contest ending November 31st. All right.
You're going to have a bunch of cheerleaders dressing up now.
If they're ninja style.
Ninja cheerleaders.
Speaking
there
of
you go.
cheerleaders, Avril Lavigne, I heard, she's not a cheerleader, but that's what I thought of when I heard of cheerleaders.
It's like, she's not a cheerleader.
She's getting a divorce. So you're
chance.
saying there's a chance. All right. Avril, I will not be your Chad Kroger. I will be better than Chad Kroger.
You will be her skater boy.
I will be.
See you later, boy.
I will be whatever you want me to be. Almost.
Avril.
Okay. One last thing. Nikon Allen's Apalooza. October 18th. Allen's camera, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. SLR giveaway. Allen will be giving away a DSLR, possibly a 7100, a Nikon D7100.
Ooh.
Not sure yet, but shit, just show up.
Yeah.
You have a chance of winning something like that and maybe spinning the Wheel of Fro when you're there, because we are going to do a RAWtalk, and RAWtalk will be from 10:30 to 12 o'clock. Also, stop looking at my phone that's ringing. That's not supposed to distract you. It's over there.
Brought it up, and no one would have known it's
Well,
ringing.
he's looking. I don't need
Not
that.
even
No
on
one
camera.
can see.
No, but anyway, stop interrupting me.
Oh my god.
They are going to have. We wanted this last year to have the sensor cleaning. There are going to be people cleaning sensors.
Does it have to be a Nikon camera?
Yeah, I would assume it has to be a Nikon
Damn it.
camera. Here's
Darn
the
it.
thing. There's only a limited number of those that they can do because it takes time. So if you want to be one of those people that get their sensors cleaned, make sure you get there early when they're opening, so that you can get your name in there, so that you can be part of that to get your sensor cleaned. That's $100 if you send it in.
Is it?
Plus how many weeks to get it back?
Yeah.
So that's a great option. There's going to be amazing trade-in deals, incentives that are going to get you money back. But anyway, it's Saturday, October 18th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Pray it doesn't rain.
Well, yeah, rain or shine, we'll be in a tent. There will be a taco truck. We'll be RAWtalking, and we want to have that live audience for you. Let's get to the huge trip.
The huge trip.
Tremendous trip.
Tremendous. Epic.
We started in Poland. Most people don't realize why we went to Poland. Basically, I threw a dart at the map, and we ended up in Poland. When I went to Photokina last time, we ended up going to London first and then going to Germany. It made no sense. Actually, that's what paid for the trip, because we did boot camps that allowed Adam and I to afford the trip to go out there to cover the show. I thought it was awesome to get out to actually cover a show, big-ass show like this. But this time, I wasn't going to go to just Photokina for 3 days and then fly home. What's the point of flying that far to just fly home? So I was like, well, let's do some sightseeing. And Poland, I've never been to Poland, and Poland doesn't seem like it's the happiest place in the world to go. It's not Disney World because of the past and all of the Holocaust stuff. And I was like, you know what? We'll be here. It's a 2-hour flight, I believe. Yeah. It was only two. It wasn't far. It's like an hour.
We did connector flights, so it was an hour.
So it's not that far from where we needed to be.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a great opportunity to go to Warsaw, to go to the ghettos, the Warsaw Ghettos, and then to go to Auschwitz and Auschwitz-Birkenau.
Yeah.
It's not something that you take a vacation to do because you want to be happy.
No.
Happy clap along, just...
Where's your big hat?
Well, you're supposed to wear it. But, so anyway, we chose to do that. I hired us tour guides because I think, for me, it's very important when I go somewhere, I ask a lot of questions to have people that give the answers. So we stayed in Warsaw. We stayed at the Bristol Hotel, which is the oldest building there because it didn't get blown up.
One of the two that didn't get blown up, I believe they said, right?
Right, because during World War II, it was a Nazi hospital.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't get blown up.
And the church, too, I think was the other one, right?
And then, yeah, that church was still there. And so we stayed in Warsaw. That was pretty cool.
Tour guide was great. Her name was Barbara. She was extremely informational. I don't know how she keeps all
Retains
that up
it?
there. Yeah.
She
so
said
much stuff.
that she's very well paid.
Yes.
That's her quote.
Well, we were driving around in a nice black Mercedes.
Which
That
I
was
didn't
cool.
expect to be picked up in a
No,
Mercedes.
Not at all.
And it was affordable to have a tour guide.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you're traveling, especially with families, if you're going to like a group of 50 and they have these tour guides, it's not as much fun as getting the personal hands-on
it really
touch.
was pretty inexpensive for what we paid for.
Yeah, for what it was. And it definitely was worth it. So we did that. And in Warsaw, I took the D810. I decided not to take the D4S. Not for any, I mean, I wanted to. I wanted to take the D4S because I'm comfortable with it.
But
then
there's no point in bringing two cameras.
Well, there was no point in bringing the D4S to do this and then the D810. I forced myself to use the D810. And I found out that I really, really enjoyed using the D810. It wasn't because it was smaller or lighter. It was just very functional. It was much better of a camera than the D800 when I first used that. yes, these files are huge, but
Because you shot full RAW.
I shot full RAW, 14-bit, uncompressed.
Yeah.
You saw that there was a time when those break dancers were dancing and I did 21 frames in a row or something.
Something like that.
Of RAW, and it kept up with it.
The buffer held up, yeah.
But I loved the ability to shoot at 64 ISO natively. That was really cool. But what was neat is we ended up doing a review of the D810, or a hands-on review.
Yeah.
In Warsaw, because we walked to the right of the hotel and it was on a Saturday, and there were thousands of people out enjoying the beautiful weather, which we had unbelievably beautiful weather the entire time. It only rained when we were taking off to leave.
Yeah, I mean, the whole entire week. I still can't believe we got that lucky.
Right, and
we were in
everybody's...
their Old Town, I think it was called, right?
Yeah, it was Old Town down in Warsaw, and there were street performers, and there were 17 weddings going on. We saw so many brides.
Weddings.
So many. We could have
There was
wedding
5
crashed.
that one day.
At least. So thought that it would be a great opportunity to use the D810 in a real world environment, because you know me with testing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I want to shoot it. I want to actually use it, because that's how we can report on it. So we did that shoot. We had a great time. We walked somewhere, and then your battery died.
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
Why did your battery die?
Because we were using Wasabi batteries. Well, first of all, I normally have my battery grip, but since I was using my shoulder rig, the Zacuto doesn't work with the grip, so I have to take the grip off, which only lets me use one battery. Use the Wasabi. I just picked it out of my bag. They're all charged, so I just picked that one out, assuming it was just as normal as the Canon battery, held up. Anyway, we get out there, maybe not even an hour in with filming, I guess.
Yeah.
Died on me without any warning. Normally, you get with Canon cameras, they start blinking red at about, say, I don't know, 15, 20%, and then they start blinking faster and faster, and then they eventually die. So the faster it blinks, you know it's about to die. Anyway, with this, no warning at all. It basically just got to one bar, not red yet, and just died. Camera died. Nothing.
And then you had to walk back to the hotel.
Walk back, which is a good, I don't know, 10, 15-minute walk.
At least.
Grabbed another one. I just thought it was maybe that battery, and I happened to get another Wasabi battery. Same thing happened, and I had to go back again. No, wait, I had extra batteries on me.
You probably brought extra batteries.
I had extra
that time.
batteries a second time, yeah.
Well,
but that one died just as fast, and the Canon one I used the Canon one after that, and it lasted maybe, I don't know.
The rest of the day.
Yeah,
Hours.
the rest of the day I used one.
So here's the thing with these batteries. We've used them. We've used them in the D610s here in the loft, and we've noticed that if we have a Nikon battery in one, fully charged 100%, a Wasabi battery in the other at 100%, that by the time we're done, the Nikon one is still in the 20 to 30% range, and the Wasabis are already red.
They're like 5-10%.
They're almost dead after an hour and a half of a show.
They don't keep up.
That is not a good thing to have as a professional backup. I don't care if they're less expensive. I don't care that you can buy more of them because they're less expensive. If they're dying too quick, or if they're in the middle of a shoot and you have no warning, I also know... I should finish a thought and then get to the next thought. If they die too quick, you're SOL, right? I also noticed when those batteries are charging on the Nikon chargers, they blink much quicker. I don't understand that. There's some weird blinking going on, and they never get to a solid blink, a solid charge.
Really?
Yeah, so I've noticed that. We use them. I still see using the Wasabi in the GoPro. I still see it as a good option for buying batteries and chargers for older cameras like the D3000 like I did. That was affordable. That was easy. But I would not buy one for my D4S. I would not use these batteries for video. For stills,
that's what I was going to bring up.
You can get away with it.
I think stills, they can probably handle a lot more.
Right. But you got to watch it. You really can't be in the middle of a shoot and try to save money on these third-party batteries like that. I'm sure Wasabi won't be happy hearing this, but it's the truth.
Honest truth.
I would not spend the money. I don't care if I save $50 on a battery for my D4S. I will not put one of those batteries in my camera.
I mean, as a backup to my backup, hey, it's in the bag. It's always
as a
worth
last
it.
resort.
Last resort kind of thing. Like
Yes.
I have certain batteries, my Canon batteries, that I mark as old because they're the first batteries I ever bought and they don't last as long. They're my backups. These could be a backup to them. The other thing is I think the reason it doesn't give me a warning light or display when it's about to die in the Canon battery, I think it's because it doesn't register with Canon, at least my 5D Mark III, because it always gives me this warning saying it can't register the battery or something like that. So I don't think it actually knows. It's not connecting with the camera, telling it how much it has left, which is why it dies. But regardless of that, it still doesn't last nearly as long.
No, and that's the thing. People are always like, well, third-party batteries, they're all made the same.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Nikon or the Canon, they come out of the same factory in China. Well, if that's the case, then one of the China factories is doing a better job.
Yeah.
So as a backup to a backup, possibly, but we have encountered this numerous times now where
on 2 different brand bodies too.
Right, with 2 different bodies, Nikon, Canon, and we're talking D610s, which means it's the same battery for the D7000, D7100, and all the new
Mark
ones.
III, the same as the 7D and
D750
6D and everything.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. But anyway, Warsaw was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Beautiful place.
It was. We got to eat food. We met up with some readers,
Yep.
which was nice. We didn't know we were going to have a meetup, so it was very last minute. Not as last minute as Krakow, but very last minute in Warsaw. And we had 7, 8, 9, something like 9 people or something.
It was cool. It was just like a round table with us and just hanging out, having some beers. And
how about, I forget his name, but he shows up with a pipe. I want to welcome you to Poland.
He had a perfect radio voice.
He had
dude.
the greatest radio. You know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are. So we're thinking, we go out to drink. We go to the bar. He's like, how old do you think I am?
I thought he was way
I'm like,
older.
in your 20s? He's like, I'm 18, which you can drink at 18 there. You can drink beer at 18.
Yeah, I know.
No, you can drink when you're there.
I thought it was 16.
Actually, isn't it 16 but you can only drink like beer, not the hard stuff?
No,
Yeah,
it was
I think that's
liquor
what
at
it
18.
is.
I
think it's something like that.
It was weird,
I'm sure
but-
we'll get a ton of YouTube comments now.
He was cool as shit.
He was so cool, dude.
I loved his voice.
Oh, dude, his voice was awesome.
All the people there were great.
Everyone was great.
Because
yeah.
we had great discussions, answered great questions, had fun, went out, got drink.
Which, by the way, I don't think you ever posted that picture.
No, I didn't post that picture yet.
Well, for them, we should post
Well, I
it.
need to post that picture.
Yeah.
That
I
pissed
wasn't
me
in
off.
that shot.
When you shot with the D810
And the lens hood.
and you pop the flash up and the lens hood shows up in the
Yeah.
frame, that's because I don't encounter that anymore.
Well, I don't ever use the pop-up flash.
That's why you use a flash above your head.
Yep.
I just got a funny thing about Photokina. Hold on, I got to make a note.
All right, make a note.
I'm making a note.
I'm trying to think of what else we did that night with those guys and girl. I believe there was a girl there, one of the girlfriends.
Yep.
But we walked around for a little bit and then we went to just get beer, right?
Yeah, that
We
was
just
it.
hung out? Yeah.
So then the next day we are ready. Oh no, then we get
Next day we went to Krakow.
Well, we started the drive.
Yes.
So we started the drive to. We had another tour guide. It was. I actually had a.
I wish it was the same first tour guide. I will say that.
It would have been cool to be in
She
that
was
car.
great. And that car.
We had a Peugeot going. The next one. That's a French car.
Oh, okay.
It's the one with the lion on it. So I had a what do you call these people that set up trips for you?
Trip planners.
Not a trip
travel
planner.
agent.
Travel agent. I found a travel agent because a Fro reader on Twitter suggested a person that does it for businesses and large groups.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to have a travel agent because we travel, and I don't want to sit there and have to find all of the information. I want somebody that has been to these places and can recommend where to stay and give me multiple recommendations. She did a great job.
She did a great
And they
great
only
job.
get paid a couple bucks to set up the flights.
Okay.
They get I think it's like $40 to set up the flight, and that's
it.
Right.
Wow.
They make money off of the companies paying them, the tour guide companies. They'll get a percent. It's
So
like
some
an
kind of
affiliate.
commission kind
It's
of
like a
thing.
commission. They
Yeah.
get an affiliate commission for the hotels.
Okay.
But I asked her, I'm like, give me 2 or 3 options for each location for a hotel. Give me a less expensive, a medium, and the most expensive. Or not most, but where do you recommend we
the
stay?
best of the best.
She did a great job. And when suggesting getting from Warsaw to Krakow, she's like, flying wouldn't be very reliable. Plus, you're spending too much time. By the time you fly out, you could have just driven. And then she said trains definitely aren't reliable. So we had a tour guide that drove us on our way. Before you get to Krakow, we're at like a 3.5 hour drive, 3 hour drive. We get to Auschwitz.
I thought it was a 4-hour drive.
It was a 4-hour total drive.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it was another hour after Auschwitz.
Okay.
We chose to go to Auschwitz. You have Auschwitz-Birkenau, you have Auschwitz I and Auschwitz II. He pulls us up to the Birkenau,
yeah.
and stops on the side of the road and just starts talking about how big it's like 900 acres or something.
Yeah.
How big that place was, or the ghetto was 900 acres. I don't know how big
I thought he said that was 900
maybe
acres.
he did also,
But I don't think it was 900 acres. I don't know.
But I chose to go there. One, the heritage aspect of it,
Of course.
the history aspect of it, and the fact that you can't hide away the past. The fact that you need to remember it, or you're doomed to repeat the past. So, we got the whole backstory of it. We then go inside, where you have those famous gates. I brought a camera. You brought a camera. I didn't bring a camera for the fact that I'm going to be like a tourist. And I may have only taken 25 pictures in the whole time.
Yeah, I took like 70, but I did a lot of HDR stuff too.
Right. And that's why I used the D810. And I knew what one shot I wanted to get, and that was the shot of the gate and the train tracks, which is the thing that if you look up Birkenau or Auschwitz, you will always see a photo similar to what I took. And so that's where I used the 70-200, 64 ISO with that D810. And you can see the whole photo story that I took. There were 3 images that I chose. And then while I was recording the photo story, I did end up showing 2 more. And I actually think that they work when you tell them in context. The stairs, the
stairs for sure. Yeah.
So basically, if you don't know much about the history behind the Holocaust or Auschwitz or Birkenau, that's kind of what I started to explain a little bit in that other video, which you can see on the website where I talk about the images. But you've got the images of the tracks leading to the gate. My goal was to get that out of focus in the background. 1, because there were people in the background, and 2, I just thought it would leave a lot for the mind to think about. Then we had the original rail car there.
Yeah, an original one. That's what was spooky.
Well, and if you go to the Holocaust Museum in D.C., which we can make a trip to D.C.
I would love
spend
to,
a weekend or so, or a couple days down there touring. Well, the weather's going to be crappy, so we probably won't do that now. But they have a cattle car that you walk through.
Wow.
You walk through.
Yeah, we couldn't go in this one.
No, this was locked up. But I took that picture, and it wasn't as emotional as I expected to be there. It just... What'd you feel?
I wish they had more little sample images from that time, because every now and then you would walk up to like a post where they would have a picture of an image of like, this is what it looked like as people were coming in, where the doctor, quote unquote, was telling them to go left or right or gas chambers, blah, 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 coming off the cattle cars, that kind of thing. Well, I wish there was more information, because you really can't sense what happened there by just standing there. You really have to kind of picture it, and then you kind of put yourself there, and you're like, wow, this is where it happened.
Right, and
it's hard to just imagine it.
And that's what I told the tour guide. I'm like, I don't mean this in any bad way at all, but I thought I would feel more standing here.
Yeah,
because when you go to D.C. and you go to the Holocaust Museum or you go to Yad Vashem in Israel, there's a lot of artifacts. There's a lot of footage, historical stuff. And that is very impactful because it puts it into perspective. And I said to you that on 9/11, I was in a dark room listening to the radio. I was listening to Howard Stern on the radio, and I didn't get home till 5 at night. And I didn't understand the full extent of what happened until I saw the video going and everything that happened. And the same thing happens here. Now, I will tell you, though, when I got home and looked at the picture of the train, and I stared at it after editing it, I was starting to envision what was going on inside, or this pain and strife that the people must have had in there. And that is when I got more emotional. And I think that it sinks in more when you come home, that you think about where you've been, and it's in connection with all the things we start now watching on Netflix, because I know both of us are on a Holocaust kick to learn as much as we can.
That's what I did.
Because we've experienced it.
I just binged on Netflix documentaries and movies about the Holocaust for the past week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the same thing as well. One of the striking things about going through Birkenau is the size and how there's a lot of people there, yet there's not a lot of people there.
I think what also put me off and didn't really visualize it for me is also seeing a lot of younger kids walking around and like laughing and just being in.
Okay, you want me to talk about that
and
one?
They're younger. I understand. Like they don't understand really.
But they're teenagers. They were teenagers.
They were old enough.
They were old enough.
Yeah.
But they're Israeli teenagers. Those you mean, correct?
Yes.
So I'll tell you, Israel. Before the kids go into the army, they always send them around to tour Europe. So they make a pilgrimage to Poland, to Germany, and they learn and they get educated about why, what happened to them and how basically why they live in Israel and what Israel has become. I have found this with a lot of Israelis, and I've had the discussion with a lot of Israelis that I know that are a little older now, that you feel that sometimes the younger ones are very, and I'm trying to choose my words here properly.
Yeah, it's hard to
are
talk about.
Either obnoxious, inconsiderate, loud, over the top, and think that they're the only ones in the world and want to push everybody around. And I've learned this from being there, that you need to be forceful back with certain. The prime example is we're walking up to go into Auschwitz, and there's a road that you could have 4 or 5 people abreast across walking. So you could have 2 coming this way, 2 going this way. Here comes this whole group with their flags on, chanting, doing their thing, taking up the whole entire road. and not allowing other people to pass without stepping in the mud off the path and walking. And I didn't step to the side. I held my ground because it's that Israeli generalization here. Not everyone, but it's that mentality that our shit doesn't stink. The world owes us something, and we're gonna take whatever we want. We're gonna just push our way through and be loud, and even though they're being loud because they're chanting and about how happy they are and stuff like that because they're free and in Israel. But it's just that whole mentality that, you know, we're owed something. And I had this talk with Adi, who's the one who set up the trip to Israel for all the photographers, and she 100% agreed with me.
I mean, that's what I perceived there when I.
But that's getting off. That's getting off to the side a little bit.
I didn't want to bring that part.
Well, I brought it up because it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's how it happens, and it shouldn't be. That's very disrespectful to other people. And I don't care whether you're Jewish, not Jewish, or whatever you are. There's ways to act. And if you're going to walk down a freaking pathway, you allow people to walk down a freaking pathway.
I agree.
Right. So anyway, we're walking down the path where 1 million people were killed. So the trains would come into Auschwitz through that front gate. You would get off the train, and like you said, there would be a quote-unquote doctor. I said the same thing. I don't know if you watched the video I put up about the images.
I don't think I did.
I said quote-unquote doctor because they were not they were doctors, but you don't, as a doctor, the Hippocratic Oath says you don't kill people.
Yeah.
So the doctor standing there, if they pointed to the right, which they did for the women and children or the elderly that couldn't work, you basically kept walking down the path to the gas chambers. You basically went right to die. If they pointed to the left, you were fit to work. You weren't going to die that day, but you were probably going to die sometime soon. And the sheer numbers of murders, that's the hard part to fathom. You're standing there in this place, on this ground, this hallowed ground, and you can't really put it into perspective. You can't visualize what it was like to have hundreds of people in a cattle car, for one. Then we walked down to where the gas chambers and crematoriums were. There's still some rubble and remains left, and he took us to the stairs. The stairs that people walked down.
The actual
to their
gas chambers is almost still in
it's still there. The basements of that part, and everything, where they dropped the Zyklon B.
Where they got showers.
Yeah, where they were put in showers, and 1,000 to 3,000 people at a time were put into these things. They dropped it in. It took 15 to 20 minutes to die. And then they would cremate everybody. I mean, we talk about it, but when you look online, or when I started to watch some of those Netflix documentaries, and you see bodies in gas chamber in the crematoriums just waiting to be cremated, or piles and piles of just people.
Well, did you see the boy in the striped pajamas?
Not yet.
That's a really good book and movie.
Yeah, that one really kind of showcases what it was like to be in there. So I don't want to give anything away, but yeah.
Right. Well, given it's
I mean, in the movie.
So we did, we walked through the barracks where they kept everybody with. I mean, that was stunning.
Terrible living conditions.
They're not even they're not living conditions.
Yeah, well, they said they didn't build them up to standard or obviously code.
It was
because
just
they didn't expect anyone to really live in there.
Right. So there was no. Well, there's a
rock solid beds.
Yeah, there was nothing. I mean, it was just and a lot of people. You've seen the footage and stuff. So going there was obviously an experience. It's something that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
And I won't. There was a big accident on 95.
Was there?
Here the other day.
Oh, yeah,
it took me 45 minutes to get through, like a mile and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there in traffic, calm. And anytime I got an inkling of being upset, I sat there and I was like, it could be a hell of a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope that mentality stays with me for a while, that you just think back and go, it could be a lot worse.
I think what really hit me was going to Auschwitz I, where the museum is, the one where pretty much they just left. They didn't really destroy it before they left.
Right.
That one was more the museum, and we got to see artifacts from there. And that one really hit me because you walk in this one room, for example, and it's just shoes. Just thousands and thousands of shoes. There's hair. There's the one that really hit me was when they showcased all the little kids' shoes. This is a fraction of all the babies that died. It's just like, wow, that's what really threw me off is
because you haven't seen that stuff before.
No, that really puts a number to my head. Like that's how many people died there. And again, that's only a fraction of how many people actually died there.
Yeah. See, I've been through the other Holocaust museum, so I know I've seen the hair.
I've never seen
and
any
the glasses and the suitcases.
Suitcases that had their names on there because they thought that they were going to get them back, and the other thing was they showcased some of the people that died on the wall. Some of the original members I shouldn't say members, some of the original people that were there when they actually used to register them because they were going to work them as a legit concentration camp. Well, the crazy part is everyone only lasted like 2 months. It was like rare to last over like 2-3 months.
And there were some kids that were there for 3 or 4 years.
There was and there was the one girl who lasted until like the 2 weeks before they got found. And the other thing is liberated. That's it. The families, they showcased the families. They put like 5 pictures together, and they were mom, dad, brother, sister, and they all died like usually within a week of each other. I'm assuming just emotionally they shut down and just started, once one of them goes,
or they all just killed them all.
Well, yeah, but I think a lot of those people that died on the wall was because of working conditions.
Yeah. I mean, when you see the image, I stood there to read their occupations.
Yeah.
Date they came in, date they died. I mean, Auschwitz one, for me, it was more of a touristy thing now.
It is.
Which was a little upsetting.
And those living conditions were much better because they were originally, I guess, barracks for the
Polish
soldiers.
barracks, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But, you go there, and you do have a lot of foreign tourists that are there taking pictures of certain things, and there are places where they say, don't take pictures. I had to say something to a guy. I said something to a guy. He didn't speak English.
Continue to take pictures.
But it says no photography. And generally speaking, depending on what that situation is, I may ignore it. This seemed, no, I don't usually ignore. If there's no photography, like in a museum, it means no photography. You don't do it. You just don't do it, especially when you pop the flash off.
I initially thought it just said no, because they just put a picture with a camera and a big flash, and they put an X. I thought it was just no flash.
No, they said no photography
I didn't take any
at
pictures
all
inside anyway.
But I'm in there, and this guy's just popping flashes off. And one, it's like, why are you taking pictures of all this hair? 2, why are you taking pictures of all these? Remember this.
Yeah.
You don't need a photo to remember this.
That's why we didn't film it.
Right. I tapped on the guy on the shoulder, and I was just like, I gave him the international sign for no more, which is the cutting your throat, and
that's the international sign of no.
Yeah, no.
No,
cut it out.
I understand. Yeah,
and then the camera, no photos. And the tour guide that we had, the other tour guide from Auschwitz, because we actually had 2. They brought another one with us. Was she thanked me for saying that, but
must be a big problem for them there.
Yeah, I mean that was just a huge camp. It just obviously the standing cells, the torture cells, the wall where they assassinated people, just shot
they
people.
Hung them by their arms.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've done enough here.
Yeah.
But the reason we went was to experience it. The photos that came out of Warsaw, very emotional photos when you see them. They're on the website. I only took a handful, but I thought they told a story that needed to be told. And the one of the full res images are up on Flickr. If you want to print something out for personal use, print it out for personal use. That is perfectly fine. When I'm able to print really big prints here, I'm going to have that cattle car hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
It's not a joyous thing, but it's also something you don't want to forget.
To remember. I think black and white is quite fitting for those images too.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Okay, so we leave the camps, and then we head to Krakow.
Yes.
Because we were going to just basically spend the night and then fly to Germany. So what do you do? We get to the hotel, and they give us the room on the top floor, 5th floor. It was only 5 floors.
Yeah.
It was only 5 floors. But we get to our room, and we notice that the bar and our room are basically connected.
Yeah.
So our mini bar is the actual rooftop bar at this place, and you could take one step out of our room and get right into the bar.
And we actually kind of stole Wi-Fi from them, too. If you kept the door open, the Wi-Fi signal got in.
But as soon as the door closed, the Wi-Fi didn't work anymore.
As soon as the door closed.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
But it was a beautiful view. That was where the former presidential palace was?
No, that was in Warsaw.
I thought Krakow, though.
No, you're talking about the castle.
Yeah, the castle.
The castle across the way.
Wasn't that the former presidential?
It was the former capital.
Yeah, but I'm saying, wasn't that castle?
The president's castle?
Yeah.
It may have been.
I'm pretty sure they said that was the former.
We didn't get to go to the castle.
Yeah.
But we had 3 people come out, but I sat down at 7:45.
It was like a half an hour before.
I said 7:45.
We were still eating.
I went to Twitter, and I'm like, We're going to be sitting here at the bar. Come upstairs if you're here. So a couple of people came out. And then I discovered that Tinder works in Poland.
Stop.
What do you mean stop? Tinder was unbelievable in Poland.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I will say
God.
Polish girls are beautiful.
Wow.
Yes.
Seriously, I went on Tinder and I just was swiping right a lot.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, not a lot. It was every single person.
It was every person. But there were so many girls.
You
that
actually were talking to somebody.
I was talking
right?
to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a nice Tinder conversation. But that's a good way to actually find out about local stuff.
For sure, yeah.
Where to go. I was more interested about what somebody makes in Poland. I was asking this one girl, and she was explaining to me how much they make and whether that's considered good or not. Because their money is, the zlotys aren't worth as much.
Because to us, it's extremely inexpensive. But
Right, but to
a normal,
them, you know, they're like, we could never afford this hotel.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes, that feels bad hearing that.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But it's the differences in the world.
But technically, it's the same price as maybe a low-scale hotel would be.
Like $189.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, and it's... You know, it is what it is.
Awesome
it was
hotel.
in great hotels,
Oh, yeah.
great people. So the people that came out for the little meetup there were great.
They were
fun to talk to. The one guy was Polish, but sounded like he was British because he's learning English.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people perfected their accent when it comes to speaking English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was Krakow. We didn't really get time to spend there. Well, we ended up getting time to spend there.
Well, yeah.
But
because what we're gonna bring up.
let's go into the. How about I tell the story? You ready?
Which story?
Don't give away the ending.
Okay, I know which one.
All right, here's the story. We're to leave Krakow at 10:05 a.m. the next day. We get to the airport. We're sitting there. We're waiting for our plane, which was going to be one of these Canadian turboprop jets, turboprop plane, which I've never been on, so I was a little worried
Smaller
about that. I think our flight was at 10:15, and at 10:05, because there was Wi-Fi, my trip app called TripCase. Awesome app, by the way.
I downloaded it. I didn't use it yet, though.
Yeah, but all I had to do was type in my confirmation number, and it populated everything in there.
That's cool.
TripCase was awesome. I get a notification, flight canceled. Nobody else knows what's going on.
My heart just dropped when you said that.
I was like, oh no, we got to get to Cologne. Nobody knew what was going on yet because nobody else knew. I was the first one to get a notification sitting there. Then it turns out that our flight was indeed canceled. The problem is when you're flying out of a very small airport, there's not as many flights as if you're flying out of PHL, which is Philly.
Smallest airport, by the way.
Right. There were 8 terminals.
Yeah.
8 terminals. And so they tell us that the next flight out is at 7:25. So I'm like, I'm not sitting in the airport for 7 hours.
Well, first we had to wait in line for over an hour.
We waited in line to get our tickets. But they basically say the next flight's at 7:25. Your connecting flight to Cologne's at 9:25. I'm like, we're going to just go back to the hotel.
Yeah, it's like 11 a.m. at this point.
We already checked out, but I told Steven, because you were worried that they weren't going to let us hang out there. I was just like, no, if you stayed at a hotel and then your flight's canceled, you can go hang out. You're not going to go get the room, but they'll watch your baggage for you and all of that. So we went back to the hotel, and then we got to go around Krakow. It was beautiful in the town center.
Great day out. Beautiful. It was like their Times Square, you know?
It was awesome.
Yeah, what was it called? It was called the Square, wasn't it? Or something?
May have been the Square.
I think it was just
with the big
the Square. They had the clock tower, which was from like I was reading up about it. It was in the late 1200s or the 1306 or something. Yeah,
the building, and then it was blown up by
blown up, and the clock tower is the only thing that exists still.
Yeah, so we just sat there for a couple hours watching people.
Literally, people watched for like 3 hours, and we were just laying on the ground in the middle of this square, just hanging out.
What's funny about traveling is the same thing about traveling, and I was explaining this to you. I said, no matter where you go in the world, it's in the civilized world, it's basically all the same. It's basically all the same. There's people that live there, and they're on their day job. They're dating. They're seeing their significant others. They go out to drink.
There's your Starbucks. There's your McDonald's.
Right. There's always
taxis.
It just seems it's about the same.
Yeah.
So it's nice to spend a little bit of time there. We head back to the airport. They sent a bigger plane, a 737. We take off a little late. I'm sitting there and they're like, we're going to have to wait another 20 minutes because of our slot. I'm like, there's 3 planes taking off in this airport because we have to get to our connecting flight. So we're flying from Krakow to Berlin. Yes, it was Berlin because the way home it was somewhere else. So we're there, and our flight is boarding at 9:25.
And we land at like 8:55?
No, we landed at 9:25. I looked.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we were supposed to land at like 8:55 or 9.
We're supposed to land a couple minutes.
So we're like, okay, we have some time to get to the next flight.
Right. So it's only an hour, 50-minute flight. We flew past to fly back for whatever reason. So then we're like, we're going to miss our flight. We can't miss our flight. We got to get to Cologne. So as soon as the plane lands, we're now waiting for people to get off the plane. But if you've never been in Europe, it's not like you're at a terminal in most places. You walk off the plane onto a bus.
On the runway.
So we know that we have to get to A15, not A50, which I thought the German guy said A50.
I thought he did too.
So we know that we have to get to A15. We get on the bus. They start driving. 10 minutes later, we're still driving on the bus.
A good 15-minute ride.
Going around this whole place. We finally get off. We're now at C.
We're at the complete opposite side of where we're supposed to be.
We need to get to A.
And this is a huge airport.
So we find a couple of other people that are going to Cologne because we're going to Cologne also. So we're all running. I find that we're running, and now we're outside. And I'm like, Steven, if we're outside, that means we're not in security anymore. That means we're going to have to do security again, which how the hell are we going to make it?
And at this point, this is past our departure time for the second flight.
It was past the boarding time. No, it was past the departure time. It was close. It was very, very close.
9:25 was technically departure.
We finally get we get to A. We run to A15, and they're like, hurry, hurry, hurry.
Yeah, the guard must have been expecting us because he's like, oh, quick, you guys go on this flight?
So then they open up an extra security lane. So we go through security.
I'm like shaking at this point.
Well, we had to run, and there were older people that had to run as well. We have all our bags, except for the connecting stuff. We're worried that our luggage isn't going to make it because we landed late.
Made it.
Right. If we landed late, how are they going to change planes to get to get our luggage on the proper plane to meet us? So we get there, and they're like, you're good. We're going to get a few more people, wait for the bus, and take you out to the plane. So we get on the bus to get out to the plane. We get out to the plane, and then which is cool there, they let you board the front and the back because you have to walk up it. So we walk up. Don't give it away.
I'm not.
We walk up the back of the jet, and I get to the top of the stairs to see a smiling flight attendant's face who goes, "Welcome back." And I stopped, and I said, wait, is this the same plane that we landed on? And she's like, yes. I'm like, why the fuck would you have us? I didn't curse at her.
Same freaking plane.
Why would you have us run around the freaking airport for 25 minutes worrying that we're going to miss our plane if it's the same freaking airplane that we're taking off on?
Ridiculous.
She's like, well, we needed to clean it. I'm like, but Southwest lets you sit on the plane. If it's 6 freaking people, you sit on the plane.
Oh my God. And then that solved our issue with the luggage. We're like, well, the luggage never left the plane, so obviously
it's going to be there. It was like a Monty Python skit.
It was
where we
terrible.
had to run and worry about getting out. We're younger, so it's okay for us to run a little bit, even though my back hurt.
Sweating and shaking.
But for the people in their 50s and 60s that had to rush around the airport to get there, it's like, are you kidding me? You couldn't have had us just stand off the airplane for a minute while you cleaned it?
Yeah.
I was like...
It's all probably because we had to just scan the next boarding ticket.
I didn't get angry, though.
No. It was at that point, it was just funny because we were just we were just freaking out so much that we weren't going to make it.
This is a great story for the podcast.
I can't believe it was the same freaking plane.
It was the same plane.
And they took us all the way to the other side of the airport just to come back to the same plane.
And then they were there smiling. I'm like, stop smiling!
I know.
9!
They give you the chocolate.
I'm like, I don't want your chocolate.
Air Berlin or whatever. I
don't want your Air Berlin chocolate. Oh, and speaking of Air Berlin, holy dunking landings. Did that guy dunk the landing twice?
Yeah.
The second one was worse because we bounced.
I thought we were going to topple over.
Ever bounced in a landing.
It was pretty bad.
This guy kerplunked. And when you know kerplunk, you know kerplunk the game?
Yep.
What is it?
Oh, man. I do know what this is.
Well, that's why you said yeah.
Isn't that like the Pong game that came out like a couple years ago?
No.
I don't even remember.
No,
that's called
I just think of, isn't there a Green Day album called Kerplunk?
I hate Green Day. Kerplunk was this tube, and then you would put these red sticks through the tube, put the marbles on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jenga, but whoever gets the most balls is the loser.
Yeah, I remember that.
So anyway, he kerplunked the landing. But that brought up something else about etiquette on an airplane. We've got, what do we call this thing? We call it armrest etiquette. I didn't mind sitting in the middle for the 50-minute flight because it's a 50-minute flight. But I feel that if you're in a 3-row and you're sitting there, I think that the armrest first choice should go to the person in the middle. You put your arms there, you get relaxed.
Well, because the other two have their own left and
on
right.
both sides.
Yeah.
Well, except for here. So there's a guy next to me flying wherever we were flying, and so he picked his spot. So then I moved my arms back because I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? But if you start pushing my arm away to give yourself more space, then there's a problem. So I got my arms where they were. With you, not a problem at all. With him, wasn't a problem because he put his arms forward. But then he gets out his laptop. And then his elbows now move further back, which pushed mine out of the way. And I was just, I didn't say anything to the guy. I didn't say anything. But that was so inconsiderate. So you have your laptop out now, so now your arms want to be all the way back so you can type? Like, it's just inconsiderate.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm on either the window seat or the aisle seat, I try to just take up one, whatever side is not in the middle, because I think, it's unfair to have two, especially when the seats are this big.
Yeah.
Even though Air Berlin and whatever else we flew, the US Air, the seats were pretty nice. They were big, especially the flight we took to the 737 to Germany and
yeah, the 737s are fine. So anyway,
and I had a crying baby next to me too. The one flight.
Yeah, you did.
But the lady was nice, and the baby wasn't too bad. I had headphones in,
and once I put my in-ears in,
yeah, you can't even hear.
I wasn't upset.
Yeah.
All right, so we're now in Cologne. I think we should probably get to photo news. I mean, we have stuff to talk about this, but I'll interject it in with photo news.
Okay.
Or do you want to talk about it first?
What is that about?
We just got the Photokina, the stuff to talk about, the experience there, the recap video, the Zach Arias thing.
Let's split it up and do photo news, then that.
All right, so we're going to get into Photokina in a minute, but I do want to thank Black Rapid for being the sponsor of the trip.
Yes.
If Black Rapid was not the sponsor of the trip, we wouldn't have been able to make it and meet all of you people out there that we got to meet and put up the recap or make the footage from Cologne. So we owe them a lot for making that happen. As you know, I have my own Black Rapid strap. A lot of you guys have it. If you're not aware of Black Rapid, check out blackrapid.com and thank them for getting us out there. Because that way, can you move that fuzz right there?
Yeah, great people too at work there.
Yeah, they were great, and we have a whole extra video for them, especially for them. So let's get into photo news, and a lot of it's from Photokina. So what do you have?
Actually, only the end. Should I start with Photokina or end with Photokina?
No,
stuff?
just talk about photo news.
Okay, most of it, I tried to recap mainly the past week and a half, which by the time this comes out, it's the past 2 weeks, because I didn't want to backtrack too much, because obviously we missed about 2 weeks of RAWtalk, and I think at that point it's not really newsworthy.
Right.
So I'm just going to bring up some more of the recent stuff. A lot of Fro readers pointed this out to me while we were away. The U.S. Forest Service wants photographers to pay a $1,500 permit in order to shoot federally owned wilderness areas. It's not only for pros either. They're even asking people with just smartphones to pay.
Good. Screw those smartphone people.
Now, if you decide to be a rebel and not pay but still shoot, you can be fined as much as $1,000.
But that's cheaper than paying $1,500.
It is cheaper.
Yeah,
that is true.
I might as well just not ask.
And be like, oh, it's $1,000. All right.
Now I don't know if that's
$500.
$1,000 on top of the $1,500. They didn't really they weren't specific about it, but also even if you do pay, the permit would first have to be approved by the Forest Service, since they have to meet certain guidelines like being educational in nature. So any type of photography for commercial advertising is a big no-no.
Well,
which doesn't make sense. Why need a permit then?
I wasn't going to interrupt until you were done with that.
Now the permit plan hasn't been finalized just yet. If you want to give your 2 cents about this controversial plan, the Forest Service is accepting public comment until November 3rd, when I guess they vote on it. Also, this is generally an extension to the existing Wilderness Act of 1964, which prohibits exploring wilderness areas for monetary reasons.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing
Your
about
2 cents.
this. Yeah, it's a national park, which we pay for with our taxes.
Exactly.
Well, there's a difference between the U.S. Forestry Service and national parks. They're two different organizations.
Okay, educate us, Sutter.
That's all I was going to say. I was just saying that they're two different organizations.
What are they? Are they government-backed or not?
The National Park Service, which is the Department of Interior, and then the Department of Forestry, which is not parks, but national forests.
But they get governmental money.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
But
I pay $1,500 to just go shoot? I get it if it's commercial use. I get it if you're making money.
Well, that's what I get too.
But I don't get it just to go shoot.
Yeah.
Now, maybe charge people $25 to get a permit. You want to charge them something just to bring in money? It's like, hey, please give us a donation. Then that's something fine. But $1,500 is just absurd.
Yeah. Moving forward, we have there's a new useful plugin for Lightroom that shows you what focus point you were using for each photo. It's simply called Show Focus Points. It displays all your focus points, similar to looking like in a viewfinder, and lights up the one you used or several that you used, if, say, you're in like group area focus or something. This would be great for someone like you who is making tutorial videos showing where you focused on, or for those that worry about back focus issues and aren't sure if the camera focused on the foreground or background. As of right now, it works only with a select set of cameras, but it's all Canon and Nikon cameras past 2002. And it's available for both OS X and Windows, and again, it's a free plugin.
I don't know why Adobe just doesn't.
Now it looks like
it
looks like this isn't. It is technically a Lightroom plugin, but it pops up a separate window with the image and the viewfinder points overlaid, the autofocus points.
Now the Nikon software does this automatically already. Yeah, Nikon software. If you use NX, it actually shows you that stuff.
But who uses NX?
Nobody raises their hand.
It's just nice to have it, I guess, all on one.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to download that one. There's a legal going on over the Vivian Maier photos. A legal battle going on over the Vivian Maier photos. A previously unknown living heir came forward to claim rights to Vivian's multi-million-dollar set of over 100,000 images. The heir, Francis Bale, a Frenchman, didn't realize he was related to Vivian until recently, and he's now seeking to be recognized as her heir under U.S. law. The case was filed back in June, which could potentially see all of Maier's photos pulled from various galleries and collections. The backstory is that John Malouf, a former estate agent, owns about 90% of her known work after he bought a box of negatives for $380 shortly before she died. The lawsuit was filed by David Deal, a former photographer turned lawyer.
Dick.
Now, Mr. Deal said he was unhappy that the photographs should be sold by people unconnected with Miss Maier.
Fuck you, Deal.
And he decided to track down her nearest relative. He told the New York Times, in quotes, "As a photographer and an attorney, the situation bothered me, so I decided to do some research on it," end quote. And he found this guy, Francis Bale, and he talked him into pretty much becoming the legal
This guy's
heir.
a dick, okay?
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
Okay.
This is allegedly my opinion.
Allegedly my
opinion. First off, I don't know the legal aspect of it.
Yeah, the mumbo jumbo.
I don't know all of the legal stuff. But what common sense says to me is that if she wanted somebody to have her negatives or something like that, she would have written a will and bequeathed them to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Or bequeathed.
I don't know what that means.
Well, queefing is different.
That's a little bit different
than bequeathing. She would have left it to somebody. Okay,
you could have just said left it, but.
Right? But I wanted to use different words.
Okay.
If Malouf didn't buy these things, they would have gone into the trash. Or if somebody else found them, they wouldn't have been as successful as he has been with what he's done. He's done an amazing job making people aware of who she was and the work that she did. He created a story,
a name for her.
He created the whole thing.
Yeah,
he did. So this lawyer's got to stick up his ass about allegedly. In my opinion, because I'll probably get sued by this guy.
Yeah, right.
He's got to stick up his ass that he thinks it's wrong. I don't give a shit that you think it's wrong. The guy found these negatives and bought them. She kept them in a storage locker that then wasn't paid for, which means all the stuff in the storage locker becomes the owner, the storage locker's stuff.
It's all legal.
They own it now
owns it, yeah.
because they left it. It's like you go to a pawn shop and you leave it there and you get the money.
Yep.
If you don't return to collect it
They
again,
legally own it.
then they own it.
Now, and I thought too that Malouf went to who he thought was her relatives or something like that and bought the copyright from them or something. I thought it was some kind of backstory.
He went to somebody else
like
to buy the other negatives.
Or that's what it was.
Somebody else bought another lot.
Okay.
But he connected them and bought them.
And tried to buy, yeah.
So this person's in Paris. It's a relative. It's only coming out of the woodworks because there's possibly money. This
exactly.
lawyer, I don't know what the hell his freaking problem is. Why are you trying to stifle this? The guy, Malouf, isn't hurting anybody by making money off of it. He's done the work. He's made it a success.
Yeah. He's bringing her story to life.
Again, I don't know the law of this that's behind finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
Yeah.
Right? Is it called the finders, keepers, losers, weepers law?
I think that's the official law name.
But the way I look at it, it was in a storage locker that didn't get paid for, which means that whatever's found there is now owned by the storage locker people.
Exactly.
They then sold it.
It's like Storage Wars.
Malouf bought it.
Kind of.
Right here. Right here. Storage Wars.
$3,000.
Yup. I like this one. I like this slide. You see? There's some really good stuff in here. If I I'm thinking I'm going to go about 100, but you know what?
See that old lawnmower? I'm gonna probably make like $10 profit off that.
Again, my favorite part of the show is when they pull
pricing.
stuff. Here's a Barbie. That's $25. Cha-ching. Here's a used toilet paper. That's $10. Cha-ching. It's like they just throw numbers
And
at
it's like
it.
in the end, you make like $5 profit, and all that from selling, and all the trouble of going on eBay or whatever to sell it. It's like you make really no profit, in my opinion.
Unless you find that hidden gem.
Unless you do find that hidden gem, which is rare.
The sword or precious diamond.
So the
Diamonds are forever.
next up, we have the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus got announced since our last RAWtalk. I figured I'd bring this up. Along with some of the camera specs. Now, first of all, it's a protruding lens, 8-megapixel in-sight camera, brand new sensor. It's got the True Tone flash, which I'm sure works like crap. F22 aperture, on-sensor phase detection, which is a first for them, and it's pretty much means faster autofocus. For you selfie kids, the front-facing camera also has a new sensor and brighter f2.2 aperture, and also includes a new burst mode for the front-facing camera. 1080p, 30 frames and 60 frames per second. Also, slow motion video is now supported at both 120 and 240 frames per second. The 6 Plus has optical image stabilization as well, which is a first for iPhones. Now, the 6 doesn't. Apple also opened up full manual controls for developers, which is personally my favorite thing out of all this. I still don't know why they don't have it built in the Direct Camera app. There are a few new apps, speaking of that, in the App Store that already support this feature if you have iOS 8. One app being called Manual, such a unique name, and the other being called ProCam 2, and I believe Visco just updated their app with manual controls as well if you have iOS 8. Now, there's more out there. I just want to name some of them that you guys can download. I put up some slow motion sample videos on the website as well that feature the 240 frames per second. There's also a new comparison video of the 5S, 6, and 6 Plus. And DxO Mark even chimed in on this and put the new iPhones through their tests, claiming that this is the best smartphone camera on the market right now.
Thank you, DxO Mark.
You know, I just figured I'd bring that up because
right?
you love them.
Marquise?
Marcus, the model.
Is his name Marquise?
It's Marcus.
Marcus?
I think.
So, I think it's Marcus. No,
Yeah.
it's DeMarcus.
DeMarcus, you're right.
It's DeMarcus.
DeMarcus.
So, there's a guy that works for
DxO
that we met at Photo Plus last year named DeMarcus.
Great
He's
guy,
an American guy, lives in France because that's where DxO Mark is located. He keeps trying repeatedly to get me to use their software, which I'm not going to use it. But I'm honest with him. I'm like, DeMarcus, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to be honest with you.
And he knows it, too.
And he knows it, but he likes us for some reason.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
So this guy, we're in the Nikon booth at what's the place called? Photokina. And this guy, he's a black guy.
I thought he was a model.
This beautiful skinned, smooth, soft skinned, gorgeous looking, bald black guy with muscles.
He's got like a V-neck
He's got
shirt.
a V-neck on.
You
You can see his pecs. Walks up to me and starts, and I'm like, who's this hot guy? I mean, I'm like, and I said to him, I'm like, DeMarcus, I'm like, if I was gay,
you would be the one.
you would be the one. Because look at you. You're a pretty guy.
He is a pretty guy.
But he's awesome. I like talking to him.
Cool dude. And he won an award or something.
They were DxO won an award for something, and he
Yeah.
was going to accept it. But I just thought it was funny because I didn't remember. He just started talking to me like we're friends.
You thought he was a reader or something.
At first.
You're like, oh, thanks for watching.
Well, because I try to get. This happens a lot. We run into a lot of people.
Funny. He's like, Jared, I'm not a reader.
Well, the thing is, when we meet people, it's like they know everything about us because they've been following along. So people talk to you like they're your friends. That's the difference with the internet. It's kind of changed it. People aren't as afraid to talk to you because they know so much about you, which is cool.
And it's also hard to have a conversation because we're like working and we're trying to move along, and they're having a full-on conversation. Yeah.
But DeMarcus was cool.
Very cool. Yeah, really cool dude.
I don't know why I brought that up.
We were supposed to go back. We told him we were going to stop by his booth too, and we never did.
Well, there's so many booths. We might as well just talk about it for a minute here.
Okay.
How big Photokina is. There are 9 different halls. Each one of these halls is bigger than Photo Plus.
Oh yeah.
If you've ever been to Photo Plus,
hall.
the entire Photo Plus fits in one hall of 9. So there's so much walking to do. There's 3 different press rooms. We went to the press room.
Only like once or twice.
Right, because that's where we could get internet. That's where you could get set up. It's where we could get water that you had to buy.
And the internet was blazing fast, like faster than my home internet. But the hotel internet was insanely terrible. It wasn't even 1 megabyte.
We weren't capable. It was a half a megabit up
and down.
We couldn't even use it.
Couldn't even like go to YouTube.
No, so that was not good. But the internet at the press room was good. So Photokina, for anybody that doesn't know, it's every 2 years. It's the largest photo show in the world, and we covered it. Thank you to Black Rapid. You can see the 45-minute recap. Steven cut that together. It's really freaking good. Why did we choose to do a recap instead of like 30 individual videos? Because I think when you put up 30 individual videos, it's like a grab to just have plays on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like a way of being like, we're going to force you to watch every single video that we put up. It's a big, it makes sense for SEO purposes. It makes sense to do all that stuff.
I think it's just a lot easier just watching one quick, and it's pretty quick too. 45 minutes isn't that much, especially if you're watching RAWtalk.
Like I said, I watched it last night and I got 20 minutes in instead of going to bed, and I just finished it because it went pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just the idea was that we do a recap of the show. It's quick, it's fun, it's informative, and it's in one place so you can watch it. And I'll take the social media hit on the not having multiple videos like other people that put up multiple videos about it.
And we did do a couple separate videos, but there was just the big ones like the D750 and the 7D Mark II.
Right.
And Atomos. Not Atomos, Black Rapid.
Black Rapid,
yeah.
Because that was part of
because that was
part of what we
you.
Basically traded. You know, give them something, we got the trip.
Yeah. And we in the video too, if you guys do want to watch it or haven't watched it yet, it pretty much features all the newer, bigger products that were announced. We tried to stop at most of the booths.
There's hundreds and hundreds of booths.
So many.
We spent 2 days, which ended up being enough to walk around.
We couldn't even find some.
A lot of them you can't find, but the booths are so freaking... I mean, the floors are so large. You've got so many companies from around the world, and some of the things like the China companies, there was that AEE one that I was going to make a really bad video there, but the guy kept staring at me.
I didn't include that at the way end during the blooper reel.
You did during the blooper reel. It's there, but we're standing there and it's like they make knockoff DJI Phantoms, they make knockoff GoPros, they make knockoff everything,
and we were going to hit them for that.
We were going to be like, so we're here at this booth that looks like they make everything knocked off of everything else straight out of China.
The guy's like smiling and staring like, oh, they're making a video about our booth, and then we were going to rip them apart,
and
then
I
you decided not to.
I decided I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
because
you actually said to check them out. You're like, so check them out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not using that video.
Yeah, so that happens at the shows, and honestly, I mean, shows are pretty boring. They're the same show over and over again. Like when we go to Photo Plus in a couple, when we go to Photo Plus, October 30th, 31st, and 1st, we are going to do a live RAWtalk at Squarespace's office. I believe that's going to be on Thursday, which is going to be the 30th. We're going to put out tickets for that very soon. I have to put it out very soon. Tickets very soon.
Yeah, really soon.
Yeah, let me write that down. Tickets soon.
Also, looking back at your Photokina coverage from 2012, I noticed the Nikon booth was exactly the same place, looked exactly the same, everything. I'm assuming Canon was probably the same too, but that's all I could see from that video.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed at Photokina was which booths were the popular ones by how busy they were. Like Nikon, Canon, absolutely busy. Fuji, absolutely busy. Panasonic, not busy.
Well, Panasonic was also placed in a really bad area. It was like the corner of one of the random halls. But
Samsung,
Fuji was really packed.
Yeah,
they had a huge booth.
Fuji is unbelievably huge right now.
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. And we took time to sit and listen to Zacharias.
That was fun
in the wild.
The Zacharias.
We made sure to go do that, and it was nice to sit there and hear him speak.
Yeah,
he had some
great public speaker.
He had some tips that were fantastic.
Street photography. For
street photographers. And you know, one of them was that counting 1, 2, it was counting 3 steps shoot, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shoot.
Yeah, because you want to hit when
you want
their feet are down,
feet
so it looks
separated,
like they're walking.
One walking.
He said you don't want to look like they're flamingos.
Right. And that was an unbelievable tip. And he had some great motivational things about, he asked people that are shy to raise their hand. Who raised their hand?
You did.
I did. I raised my hand as high as I could, and nobody else raised their hand. He didn't see us because we were off to the side.
When he said everyone that didn't raise their hands are actually the shy ones.
Right. And I know I'm shy in some ways, but I can also...
You are actually kind of shy when you're not on camera, I would say.
So we're sitting there, and Zach starts talking about this new classic Chrome, which is a JPEG, which is a picture control inside the camera. He's like...
the X100T, right?
Right. He's talking about the X100T, and he doesn't know that I'm there, and he goes, I have a confession to make, and there's some people that have slogans, and some people that would definitely say that I'm bad, but I shoot JPEG.
And then you're like...
I booed. Well, I knew where he was going. The first line he said, and
I said it, but to me,
I said it to you. I said he's
that.
about to say that he shoots JPEG.
Yeah.
So he did say it, and I booed, and then he's like, "Oh, it's Jared." But I didn't want. It wasn't about me.
No, it was good.
But I booed because I thought it was the opportune time to actually interject.
And then the question part at the end too.
Right, and then he gave a fantastic speech, like we said. I learned a lot. Stephen learned a lot. We got to sit there and,
nice
and
to
pay
relax
attention
for a second too.
And then at the end, he's opening it up to questions. And I told Stephen I wasn't going to ask questions. I'm not going to ask a question. It's not about me. It's not my. This is his thing. But then nobody raised their hand, and I know what it's like to stand on stage, and everybody's got questions, but they're afraid or too shy to ask it. So I raised my hand. Zach came over, and I threw him a softball question, a question that I knew he could go and do something with. I wasn't going to ask him anything that related to me. It was, hey, how is the focus? How do you focus with this type of camera, and what has changed in the new camera? So that gives him something to talk about.
It was a relevant question,
right? So that's the important thing. If you're ever going to ask somebody a question, give them something they can answer. Don't throw something like, "Oh, why don't you shoot RAW with this camera?" Because that would have served me, not him.
Yeah.
And this was about him, not about me.
No, I agree.
So why don't we get back to news?
Where were we? So we have a new short.
We just got done yelling at that lawyer.
A new short film. It's called Moonlight. It showcases the Sony A7S's low light capability by shooting the entire film with just that, only moonlight. It's so well lit that it actually looks like it was almost shot at dawn, when in reality it was shot between 12:30 a.m. and 2 a.m. and lit by a full moon. Most scenes were shot at 12,800, 25,600, and 32,000 ISO, so they really pushed it. Now, there obviously is noise in the film, but it's quite a pleasing type of noise that you would kind of expect. Mimics more of a film grain, not color noise or anything nasty. You like eating that microphone? Anything to throw me off, right? Anyway, check that out. Cool film. Did you hear anything I just said?
Yeah, you talked about all the different ISOs. It's pleasing noise. This is what I got in school all the time.
What?
I would be sitting there like eating my pencil, putting a pencil up my nose, drawing on something, and the teacher would then be like, "Jared, what did I just say?" And I would regurgitate the exact words that they said. For some reason, my brain can throw back out what people say verbatim almost.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know why. And then I'd spit it back at them, and they're like, "Well, okay, pay attention."
Well, pay attention, Jared.
Or other times they would be like, "Where's your homework?" And 20 people will turn in their assignment, and I would be the one sitting there going, "I don't remember you saying that."
No, the worst is when you didn't do the assignment and you get through the whole class to the way in and they didn't ask for the homework yet, and you're about to leave and that one person hands it in and screws everyone over. And then you're like, "Oh, crap, I got to hand it in."
I guess Stephen has some memories of that.
I did that a lot. So Getty has announced their own iOS app. It's called Stream, that allows users to browse and share their massive archive. Users can search through their
massive archive.
Users can search through their entire collection and share them legally and for free, for non-commercial purposes, of course. The images include their captions and also let you favorite them and save them to your phone. It has built-in social media for sharing and even a slideshow viewer that works with AirPlay that you can stream with your Apple TV or whatever. Moving forward, we have RE unveiled their new Alexa 65, which shoots 6.5K video and sports a sensor that's 3 times bigger than Super 35. It's pretty massive. It features an A3X CMOS sensor, which is made up of 3 Alexa sensors seamlessly stitched together, and it equals out to be 54 by 25 millimeters big. Now, it shoots uncompressed RE RAW format and captures 14 stops of dynamic range with a resolution up to, again, 6.5K, which is 6,560 by 3,102 pixels. No price point just yet, but I'm sure none of us will be able to afford something like this. I believe you can rent it now from their website for now.
So we just get to Photokina, and I'm at some booth, and this guy walks by, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Fro, how you doing?" It's an Asian guy. It's an Asian guy. Yeah, you were there. I'm like, that was just Gary Fong.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. No, he asked about the email because you said, "I got your email." And he's like, "Oh, you got it?" He was really excited.
Oh, yeah.
About an email or something like that.
Yeah. He just announced some new educational subscription basis thing, and I sent an email back to his person. But I said, "Oh, I just got your email." And he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you, Jared." I guess he remembered me from 2 years ago.
He was so happy.
He was very happy. he was very, very happy. One of the best business people making a photo product out there.
Oh yeah.
I
Well, bought it. I bought his.
How many people have bought those pieces of plastic Tupperware containers to put on their flashes?
Hey, I still think it works personally.
I don't think it works.
You don't have one.
I would never use one.
Then how are you going to say it doesn't
because
work?
Richie used it and told me.
Okay.
And Richie knows what he's talking about.
I don't believe anyone until I use it, and I use it and I like it.
I do not want to. My favorite
Certain
is when
situations, not all the time.
But if you use it right, probably.
Exactly.
There's people that sit there and shoot it straight up into the sky. That's not going to do anything. It's just going to dump your... I watch people at weddings and my cousin's bar mitzvah. They're using it, and they're just dumping full power. And then they shoot too quick, and then it dumps a little bit of power or no power. And you're like, that's because you're pointing the freaking flash up into the sky, and it's reading off the ceiling, not off the subject.
I've got... God, I forget what it's called. It's made by Rogue. It's like a flash diffuser that
bounce,
the bounce card,
the curve thing,
the curves. I love that thing. I use that a lot.
That thing's good.
Yeah, that thing's great. But I've pretty much replaced my Gary Fong, whatever the hell that thing's called. With,
whale tail?
I don't know what's it called. The dome shaped thing.
Oh, that's called the diaphragm for women to not get pregnant.
I love how it's always like, what's it called? And you're like, oh, it's that. Random name.
Well, they have one called the whale tail. That's all I ever remember.
Well, I thought you were going to bring up a story about us going, because I was talking about the Alexa. I thought you were going to talk about Red, because we stopped at their booth and checked out the Dragon.
We stopped at the Red.
Crazy.
Massive.
Yeah, that stuff was massive. But we also stopped at Black Magic.
Yes.
Black Magic's was pretty cool.
We were supposed to go back to check them out.
Well, because we wanted to talk about the live switchers. Didn't get a check. You know what I didn't like about the booth?
That you had to come back?
No, the fact that the PR person was just like hand holding us the whole time through to make sure everything was like.
You talking about Black Magic?
Yeah,
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember that? It's just
I think
like,
I was looking around when you were dealing with.
I don't like going to a booth and having the PR people stand by my side to make sure I don't say something or.
Well, it's like SanDisk did that.
Well, that was different. Yeah, well. I get that. Yeah. Well, actually, she's like, you can't hold on to the $799 512 gigabyte card. I'm like,
there's
ma'am,
a lot more expensive things.
I'm like, I want to just make a video. I'm going to stand right here. You can look at me. Let me hold the freaking card.
It's like Hasselblad had all their cameras just going around. Mamiya Leaf.
Well, Mamiya Leaf.
You held that $30,000 camera.
The Credo 50, and the guy walked away.
Yeah. It's like you could have easily walked away.
I could have walked away.
This is an $800 card that they're worried about.
Right.
Most DSLRs that are on the floor are more expensive.
And I could have done sleight of hand because she turned her head.
You could have.
I could have switched it with a...
512 megabyte.
I could have done this thing, this little
512 megabyte.
And just be like,
that would have
just
been
scratch
awesome.
it out with a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't get away with anything because I'm kind of recognizable.
A little bit.
I can't hide.
So we have a new Kickstarter campaign. They're offering up a reverse digital conversion kit for your Leica M3s. It's called Franken Camera 2. The campaign offers a kit to pack a Sony A7 full-frame sensor into your Leica M3. Sort of. I'll break it down right now. Ollie Baker, the kid who started the project, he's seeking $4,920 US, which he's already reached his goal in order to build the camera and make a prototype. He still has about a month to go too. Now he's hopeful that the A7 sensor will work. He didn't actually make the camera yet, but he will use the Sony NEX5 sensor if it doesn't fit, if the A7 sensor doesn't fit. So he still really hasn't made this, but he wants to raise the money to make this prototype, which then what?
You finish and then you point to me.
Oh, well, you're like...
No, that just means I have a statement to make after you.
Now, backers don't get much out of this besides progress reports and the 3D files, but they will eventually get a 3D printed kit with step-by-step instructions on how to assemble the camera yourself. His hope is to make a final working prototype and, I believe, mass market it. So he just wants to raise the funds to buy these cameras and make it.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Is that a phrase from something?
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. You're not old enough.
What is it from?
Fucking the OJ trial.
Oh, the glove?
Yes.
I don't remember that stuff, man. I don't remember.
I was in 8th grade.
What was that, 94?
I was in 8th grade.
93, 92?
It was about 94.
I was like 5.
I wasn't even born yet.
I don't even think I was
95.
watching the news.
Okay,
at
whatever.
5 or 6
If
years
it
old.
Don't fit, you must acquit.
I mean, I remember seeing the trial, but I don't remember that kind of stuff.
So what do you think of the show?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't enjoy walking around for 8 hours with 25 pounds on my shoulder, but I wish I would have got more time to check out certain things or to go to booths that, not many people talk about. Like we did stop at the Myops. I wish we would have stopped at other booths. Like we wanted to find 2 random booths that we couldn't find.
But could you have seen spending another half day there?
I could have spent all 5 days there, to be honest.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I could have spent every day there talking to everyone as far as like just I love the information. I love the new, even just talking to that one guy about the filters. That was what, 15 minutes talking to him about that stuff. And even that, which I didn't even know about them, and he just randomly stopped us. That was interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess I blow through those places quickly.
Well, yeah, you don't even like to stop and talk. You just like to
because I know we
check
had
it out for 2 seconds.
We had
and
stuff
leave.
to get done.
Yeah.
And if it didn't interest me, I wasn't going to make a video. I was more concerned about making videos. But we did stop and see some things that I wasn't aware of.
Like what?
Well, the copter
Oh,
case
the copter case was pretty cool.
the-
DJI, it wasn't by DJI, but it was for a DJI
Right.
copter.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
What else was pretty cool? I really like the X100T. I
Yeah.
want to get one myself.
Another thing that Zach was doing on stage is he had the X100T, which has Wi-Fi built in, and then he was then wirelessly printing to their printer.
That was really cool.
So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between the S and the T? Is there anything?
Yeah,
significant?
the S is second and T means third. That is the exact answer.
Are you serious?
Didn't they keep most of it the same except
You
the
want to know what
viewfinder or something?
Did you just want to know the difference between the cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the names. Well, the difference in the cameras is it's faster focusing system. It's
Is
more.
it just an overall upgrade?
It's a more refined camera again.
Okay.
So
yeah, they didn't change much about it, but
No.
they did refine it.
they made changes that I think people like.
Yeah, and because they didn't want to change much because of how much the second one was a good seller.
How was the food in Germany?
Food in Germany, what did we eat?
Yeah, nothing, because there's nothing to eat in Germany.
I didn't love it, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it to the point where we had to go to 4 different restaurants until we found one.
Well, that's what sometimes you just have to do it.
I prepare myself when I go out to eat with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to eat well.
Yeah. So you'll like this. Somebody hacked a Canon Pixma printer to run the classic game Doom.
Did it print the game Doom?
No, it didn't print it. It ran it like on its little tiny interface that's like 2 inches big.
So it's like a TI-83 game back in school.
Pretty much, for the most part. TI-83. By using the printer's web interface, which normally provides customers with information like firmware updates, ink levels, test pages, this guy loaded custom software which runs the game. Now, the vulnerability could possibly let hackers into your home network, so the man behind it contacted Canon about this issue, and he was told that future versions of Pixma printers will come with username and password requirements for the web interface, so no one can hack into your computer.
So he played Doom.
He played Doom, which it looked really crappy because the colors didn't work right and look right, but it's just funny to bring up. I figured I'd
Sutter.
bring it up.
Sutter, do you know what Doom is?
I don't.
I
Yell
do
at me.
know what Doom
You don't
Yell
know
at
what
me.
Doom is?
Yell at me. You won't.
You don't know what Doom is? He doesn't know what Doom... You don't know what Doom is?
It was like the first big first-person shooter
Wolfenstein
game.
was. Do you know what Wolfenstein is?
Nope.
Doom was like the same thing for
I
the
know.
most part.
Do you know what Wolfenstein is?
No.
When did that come out? Like early 90s?
I was playing that on my 486 DX66 computer. I had Doom, all right? I loved Doom. IDDQD, all right? You type in IDDQD, and I think you got unlimited weapons or something.
God, how do you remember this stuff?
IDCLEV?
The fro is the extension of his
I think
brain.
It really is. Your brain's like a
IDD
computer.
There was IDDQD, IDCLV. Guys, what codes were they for Doom? I remember a lot of them. There was invincibility. You could walk through walls. I remember
walking through walls.
I remember I walked through walls and I got to the end where that head was on a stake and it scared the shit out of me because it was like a human-looking head. That was Doom 2, actually.
Do you remember Windows had, well, no, you probably don't because you're a Mac guy.
No, I
but
had Windows back then.
Do you remember like the screensaver, the Windows, it was almost like the same thing as Doom
Yeah.
too.
I
They, like,
remember that.
ripped
Yeah,
off
it would go through and the walls would
the
turn.
maze, they like ripped off it.
Oh, but Doom, man. Dude, how about Duke Nukem?
Duke Nukem.
Nope.
Nukem!
That was like the next version of Doom, wasn't it?
It
Or
wasn't. It was a different
it was
company
after.
that came out with
Yeah.
it was Duke Nukem was like a 3D
that was
game
like the
that was
perfected
awesome.
first person
Right,
shooter.
and then if you follow video game history, they were going to come out with the best first person shooter game ever, and it just kept being stretched out and stretched out and stretched. They finally did release it, but it wasn't. It just all the hype wore off. You don't know what Doom is? Can you please go home and wiki Doom?
Do you have a Pixma printer? Because you can put it on there.
You need to play Doom. Doom was the greatest game.
I don't even think. I mean, I'm sure someone made it so you could play it on a modern.
Dude, I bet you could
computer.
find a Flash version of it right now on
There's
the internet.
ROMs
Oh,
everywhere. You can
absolutely.
download them online. I have an arcade center that my roommate.
But it's not, you got to play it on the
built.
computer. It has to be played with a mouse.
Yeah, well, he has an interface that sets up the same way.
IDDQD, IDCLEV. I want to know more of those codes.
But yeah, just search up ROMs. You can search up any game literally and download
Yeah.
it on your computer.
All right, go ahead.
We have a photographer that fired back at Huffington Post for using her image without credit or compensation. The Reddit user and photographer found her image hot linked in a Huffington Post article. Now, the image was hosted on Imgur. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Reddit's favorite photo hosting site. Imgur. Now, she contacted the Huffington Post to let them know they could use the image as long as they properly credit her. The Post then responded with a refusal to credit the image, telling her that since it was hosted on Imgur, she would have to delete the image herself if she wanted it removed. Now, since they were playing hardball and were directly hot linking the image, she decided to switch the image out with text overlaid image that read, in quotes, "Huffington Post stole this image from me without permission and refused to give credit when requested to do so. All other news sites were kind enough to ask permission and give credit, but apparently these rules don't apply to Huffington Post because they just steal content from Imgur and Reddit. So here's the credit. My name is Francesca Timbers and my blog is travelry.tumblr.com," end quote. Now, again, that was overlaid
Timblr's Tumblr?
with the hot link. So this showed up on Huffington Post's website until they removed it. They discovered the change, though, not long after and quickly swapped out the photo for a legit Getty image. Just a funny way to get back at them. And
Yeah.
I think you had like a similar story you wanted to bring
Well,
up.
something similar, but also with Huffington Post. Being that I've blogged for them now, they've been running some of the articles that I've put up.
Cool.
I think it may not be Huffington Post's fault per se. It's whoever was approving whoever wrote the article,
The author
who blogged it. There's inside on their back end,
or contributor, whatever they call it.
yeah, contributor, author, I don't know. Inside on the back end, there's a box to the terms of service that asks you if you own these images, basically before you publish it or set it to publish, which it has to then get approved by them. So yes, it's not really Huffington Post's fault initially, but if they're going to go and publish things, they have to check to make sure that it's legitimate.
Yeah.
So whoever wrote it is the more at fault, but Huffington Post then posting it, obviously they're at fault as well.
That's the thing. I mean, you have these giant websites that have contributors and writers from around the world that pretty much just VPN into the network or into the admin and write their own articles without really having an editor to check it, especially when there's Huffington Post and so many freaking articles. Anyway, yeah, I mean, those sites, there could be a lot of issues.
So what happened to me is a Fro reader sent me an email with a picture of me in a magazine, a local magazine in Phoenix. And it's me in my tank top at the gym working out, and I think the headline was something like 7 things not to do at the gym. And I was reading some of them and all, but it wasn't about that. It was the fact that they used a picture that wasn't theirs, that they didn't buy, that they didn't contact me, they didn't photo credit or anything. So I emailed went to the website for this magazine. I emailed them and I was just straightforward. I'm like, 1, you don't own this image. 2, you don't own this image. You didn't do photo credit or anything or contact me to use it. You need to contact me to figure out a solution here. So like 20 minutes later, I get a call from the guy, the owner, and this is a small publication. And he's like apologizing, saying, it was a newer employee. We have protocol where this isn't supposed to happen. They're not supposed to just grab stuff off the internet. And that's what she did. We're sorry. What would you like us to do? We're small. We don't have a lot. I'm like, you don't need to do anything.
Train them. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm just making you aware, and I'm not looking for you to do anything. I don't want you to pay me. I don't need you to write anything. You don't need to say anything. Just be careful. And you're lucky that it was kind of, well, 1, she picked the wrong person because I'm very recognizable.
The one person.
But 2, I'm like, you're lucky that it's somebody like me, and I don't want anything because you called me and did the right thing.
Yeah.
You called me. You said you're sorry. You guys are going to learn from it. I'm not going to be a dick.
Yeah.
And that was it.
No, I think you did the right thing. So we have, moving forward, a new iPhone case called RAWtalk. Features a 1-inch APS-C sensor and an f2 Leica lens for your iPhone. It has a lightning connector that directly connects to your iPhone, turning it into a more advanced point-and-shoot camera. The product is expected for a late 2015 release, and it's available for pre-order right now for $500. which is more than your freaking phone itself.
Well, I've said this before that we looked into doing the same thing, and
Yes.
we're going back 2 years where I actually started to get sensors and stuff and start the process of having it
You still have
designed,
your sensors,
industrial
don't you?
designed. Yeah, they're over there. And in the end, we ended up not pursuing it. Some of the issues may have been what happens when Apple changes the size of their phone or changes the connector. You know, then how does this all work? It's very similar to what Sony ended up making.
The QX series.
The QX series, which is better because it can fit almost on any phone.
Yeah.
But this was
And
a
it's
case
Wi-Fi,
idea.
it's not a connector.
And I just don't think that it's viable because the cameras in the phones are much better. And they will get better and better sensors and stuff like that.
What I don't get too is that it says it fits the 5S and the 6 and the 6 Plus, which doesn't, or I think this said the 6
It
Plus.
doesn't make any
anyway,
sense.
the 6 and the 5S are different sizes too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
A ton of new gear announced at Photokina. I'll quickly go through some of these to highlight the products because we weren't here when they got announced. So I'm just going to quickly go over these. The Nikon D750, we talked about that. It features a 24.3 megapixel full frame sensor, tiltable LCD screen, ISO 50 to 51,200.
Not 50.
50?
No, it doesn't go to 50.
Why did I read 50?
It goes to the
It's not
lowest.
expandable, 50 to...
Well, no, the lowest native ISO is 100.
And
Then
you're-
it goes
you have
low. It goes to low 1, which may be 50.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But that doesn't see. That's not native.
It's not native. No. I'm just saying generally what it can do.
Well,
What it's
generally what it does is
expandable-
100 to
Well, what it's expandable up to is 50 to 51,200 if you do the low one and the H1 and 2.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
X-Speed 4 processor, 51 autofocus points, focusing, this is my favorite thing, -3 EV, so super dark conditions, $2,300 it's going for. You have one in your hand right now.
Yeah, part of gear of the week. I've
You
got
bought
one
that too, didn't you?
What?
You bought that.
Well, I bought it from Allen's. The hope is to buy it, review it, and then sell it.
Yeah.
Basically. And then hopefully Nikon sends us 3 to use for videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had it for long. Just starting to figure it out. It has the screen. This is what people were interested in seeing is the pull-out screen, which is built pretty well. It is metal.
I still like Canon's better, and I'm not trying to
Well,
be...
no, a rotatable screen is a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
Having
Why didn't they do that, though? That's what I don't
I
get.
don't know. I don't know. And I still don't know where, as a professional, I would use this. I'm not, and if I'm shooting video over my head, I'm probably on a rig to begin with, you know, stuff like that.
Well, I could see tilting it up and doing video below.
Right.
That makes sense.
So anyway,
Or
it's,
even for stills.
or
below.
I'd never even have to pop the screen out. But I'm liking the menu options. There's some refinements in here that aren't even in the D4S or D810 that are nicer than what I have in the Pro End camera. It has a much smaller screen on the top, but we don't need to go over these specs again. But this is it. Allen's got them in stock. If you're looking for one, check out allenscamera.com. He's got the D750. It is not a replacement to the D700. It's a new camera. The D700 is so damn old at this point that it doesn't matter. The D610 is below this camera. This is right in the middle of the D810 and the D610, and it's called the 750.
Well, yeah, you bring up a good point. Why isn't it called the 710?
I don't know why it's not called the 710. Don't ask me.
Is it more of an improvement than the D700 that they had to call it the 750? But then again, it's its own camera. I don't know.
It's a nice, like, the specs are fantastic. Now we have to put it through its paces.
Yep. On the Canon side, we have the 7D Mark II that got announced, 20.2 megapixel APS-C sensor, max ISO, expandable up to 51,200, dual pixel AF, dual Digic 6 processors, 65 autofocus points, which they do go all across the viewfinder, 10 frames per second, built-in GPS, not Wi-Fi, which doesn't make sense, especially if this is being more geared for a sports shooter camera because you want to upload them right away. $2,300, $1,800 that's going for the body. They also Canon released their new high-end...
Hold on. That
Yes.
camera, I want to talk about it.
Okay.
We did use it at Photokina.
We did.
It is fast. It is... I can't tell you whether the focus is accurate or not because we didn't look at the files.
Yeah.
On the back of the screen, it looked fine. One of the things that I had a major... I think this is a fantastic camera.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny the fact that it's a fantastic camera. It's fast, shoots... When I say fast, I mean focusing 10 frames a second, whoop-de-doo anyway, on any camera, whether it's the Pro End Nikon or the Pro End Canon. 10 frames, people misuse it all the time. It's really fast for that. Video, I'm sure, is going to be fine. Still concerning, it's an APS-C sensor. You're spending $1,800. I
think, again, it's for the sports people that want that extra reach.
which in theory, if you're going to shoot full frame and then crop down to that same thing, it's pretty much going to get the same effect. Yeah. One thing that threw me off, you've got your dual pixel AF, but you do not have a touchscreen. What I absolutely loved about the 70D is the fact that I could touch the screen where I wanted it to focus. It's manual, but it's still auto, because when I touch it, the USM motors, it would move. Mm-hmm. They said that, oh, well, it's going to be pretty simple with just turning dials. Nothing's as simple as touching where I want it to focus. I don't know how that's going to work, and I don't know why they didn't, even if you didn't make it an articulating screen, make it a freaking touch screen, especially if it's meant for shooting video and you have this ability to do the dual point AF.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 7D to me, the Mark II sounds like it's geared more for stills than for video. I think the 70D is more for video because it has the tiltable screen and the touch screen.
But the 70D took such shitty photos.
The 70D?
Yeah.
I never used it.
They had so many issues when I used that.
That's a shame. So they also released a new high-end point-and-shoot camera with a 1-inch sensor. It's called the G7X. That's going for $700. Similar to the G7X, we have Panasonic's new LX100, which is their compact camera that can shoot 4K at 24 or 30 frames per second with a max ISO of 25,600. That's going for $900. Also at Photokina, we had the Fuji X100T. Personally, I want to grab one of them. Features an electronic viewfinder, 16 megapixel APS-C Trans 2 sensor, fixed 35mm f2 lens. That's going for $1,300. Which I do feel like is a little pricey, but that's their X100 line. Panasonic revealed their new Lumix CM1 smartphone, which is a 4.7-inch smartphone with a 1-inch built-in sensor and 28mm f2.8 Leica lens. It can capture 4K video and 20 megapixel stills, and it has a dedicated shutter button, full manual settings that can be controlled from the lens ring. This one is obviously geared more toward photographers. And SanDisk has their new 512 gig card for $800 freaking dollars.
Yep.
It's a lot of doll hairs.
It's a lot of dollars for a big card that you hopefully don't have go bad.
Yes.
Gear of the week?
Yeah, that's it for photo news this week. A lot of stories to catch up on, a lot of gear to catch up on.
Yeah, we didn't want to go too deep into specs. You already know the specs of these cameras.
Just wanted to highlight some of the big features.
So gear of the week, we talked about the D750, but let's also talk about the Western Digital My Passport Wireless. Yes, My Passport Wireless. They sent us this. We saw this. They had a big booth showing a lot of what this thing can do. This is a wireless hard drive with a built-in SD card reader so that you can transfer your files right from the SD card. Like if we were on location and we wanted to back it up from the card to here, we could go ahead and do that. This thing has a battery life. It said 6 hours. 20-hour standby.
6 hours streaming, right?
6 hours of, it was 4 or 6 hours of streaming.
I think it was 6.
Basically, you could have 8 people access this wirelessly if you give them access to access your My Passport Wireless so they can get files from it, stream files from it. It could be a media server.
Yep.
This is the 2 terabyte version, has a built-in battery, connects through USB 3.0. This thing is pretty darn cool.
Yeah. And I do like that you can connect via hard, you can tether it if you wanted to.
We're going to give this to DigiRichie to test out.
Cool.
This is something that he's going to use.
He has the Thunderbolt version now, right?
We also have the Thunderbolt version.
Yes.
Which is not wireless or have a battery or allow you to transfer the footage, the files from it. But it also has a smartphone app that you can set up everything on the smartphone. You can view the images on the smartphone from here, view the video from there, and basically set it all up, which is pretty darn cool. Western Digital seems to be putting out some interesting products right now.
Yeah, they've really redesigned, I feel like, their line the past year or two and been putting out some really cool products.
And that's Gear of the Week. I got some other stuff.
Do we?
Yeah, well, I got the snapback hat.
The snapback.
We've got the iShoot Stealth Edition, which is back in stock in the store with the fitted hat.
You can probably get away with wearing it at Six Flags.
Yeah, probably because it's stealth.
They can't really see.
And this is the snapback one with a very flat brim and a sticker on it if you're into flat brims and stickers.
I love when they don't take the sticker off. That's like the thing
show that it's fresh, dog.
Fresh to death.
And then something that's stuck on the Wheel of Fro are these backpack things.
Oh.
Drawstring bags?
These are drawstring bags that are waterproof.
Nikon yellow?
Yeah, I got them in yellow, purple, red, black, and blue.
Nice.
Just for us.
Oh, so you're not selling these?
Not now, unless people really, really want them. These would probably end up being $10.
$10.
$9.99 maybe.
That's not bad.
That 1 cent difference.
Yeah, $9.99.
You saved a penny.
Exactly. But they say I shoot raw on them, and I wanted to get us some drawstring bags because maybe we could use them for something.
Cool.
And they're made in China. That's what it says on the bag. But these are actually the highest quality ones that I could find.
Well, I like the, what are they, drawstrings or just strings in general?
Yeah, they're thick.
Yeah, they are thick.
They're really thick. So that's some extra stuff. That's not in the store, but the hats are in the store. And it's time for Wheel of Fro, Sutter.
Wheel of Fro.
Let's get that going over here.
It's been a while since we spin this thing. Is it dusty?
The wheel is probably dusty.
Probably. Well, it's always dusty. If we ever clean that thing. A little creaky. We need some WD-40 on this thing.
I'm putting the D750 on the floor so it can't fall off a chair.
Yeah, that would be bad.
That is not in the right place.
No?
No, not even close. That's more like it. So we got the wheel here. I don't remember what's on it because we haven't done it in a while. But we've got Rode microphones. We use the Rode broadcasters each and every week, and that's what we take on the road with us as well. We got that. We got a Fro prize. We've got Adorama picks. You can get some free stuff from Adorama picks. I can't wait to get some large-ass metal prints made, and they're going to start doing 40 by 60 soon, Steven.
Oh, I can't wait. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, what I'm waiting for is for us to go up there when they get everything installed so that they can print. The metal prints in-house.
Crib style.
We're going to do the crib style, how it's made edition thing there.
That's cool.
Borrow lenses, $250 in Borrow Lenses credit. We got Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com/Fro. Get your 14-day free trial and use the code FRO if you want to save a lot of money, basically. Save 10% off your full year. I just updated my Squarespace yesterday. I made a video about it. Well, yeah, I put up the Auschwitz pictures. I'm like, it's so freaking easy to... in
put up
a minute and a half to put up a gallery with a video and be done.
And you don't resize those photos, right? You just put them up?
I export them at 2000.
Okay.
And then they go ahead when you upload it and save it in 6 or 7 other sizes.
Gotcha.
So that it picks the right ones when you need to do it.
Cool.
We got Lexar on here. We got Black Rapid. Big thanks to them for getting us out to where we got out to at Photokina. Another Fro prize, a question mark, which means you get anything on the wheel except for the DJI Phantom, and it has to land perfectly in that. How are we doing with the... Yeah, it's sturdy. Did you guys tighten the wheel? You may have tightened the wheel.
It.
You didn't touch the wheel. We also have, that's it, Think Tank. Think Tank's on the wheel. Now it's time to spin the Wheel of Fro for, I'll tell you after. You ready to spin the wheel?
Wheel of Fro!
I'm not getting a good spin. There. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. It's going to stop on Black Rabbit! Oh, how apropos again.
I know, seriously.
So you are winning a Black Rapid strap if your name is Jessica Bunk and you're from Germany.
I remember her.
She's the one who brought a tripod out to the photo walk at the Kölner Dome because we needed a tripod.
Saved us.
To get the group photo. Now, most of you have seen the group photo. I put up a video. You can download the DNG file of the download the file of the Cologne photo walk. We had 50, I think it was about 50 people that showed up. And I had this idea a couple of weeks before that I knew it was going to be dark when we had to meet up at 8 o'clock. We took the photo around 8:40 and the dome wasn't lit up, the church wasn't lit up, and I set up the tripod, and I was like, everybody, hold out your cell phones and light your faces with the LED lights. So that's what people did, and it was awesome. It really worked out. And right after I took that picture, I was like, did they just turn on the lights on the church? And then they put spotlights on the church, and we retook the picture.
It was literally like the minute after.
It was right after. I was just taking it off the tripod.
Made such a huge difference.
Oh my God, yeah, because and then I told people that we're going to tell everybody I used a big flash to light up the building.
I like in the video, you're like, hey, and then I took out my big ass flash and lit up the whole building.
You're right, and some people believed it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Jessica, congratulations. You are winning a Black Rapid strap. So thank you for not only helping us, but then you get to spin the wheel. The people we met were great. We went out to eat. We went out to drink after.
Very personable, very cool people.
Yeah, we sat down with 50 of them at the bar.
I had a guy buy me beers.
Yeah, bought you some Kolsch. 1 pound 80
Yes.
and per Kolsch. I got a Bavarian pretzel there, which is the same as the pretzels I get here at Frankfurt Hall, the German beer garden that we have.
Yep.
I got home.
They don't have. I guess they don't have Kolsch here, right? At
They
Frankfurt
probably
Hall?
have Kolsch, but they have
Like a
big ass
knockoff?
glasses.
Yeah.
That's
you're
one
right.
thing that they don't have
Yeah,
in Germany.
it's like these little tiny.
These
I
little
can, like 5 of their beers is
pussy
like
glasses.
2.
Yeah.
Which is why I had 5 there.
So I get home 2 days after I get home. They're doing Oktoberfest out on the street out there.
Yeah, I know.
German music.
Everyone told me, dude, that night when we were talking to all the Fro readers, they're all like, "Oh, dude, you should stay another couple days. Oktoberfest is coming around. It's right down the street. Blah blah blah."
Was it right down the street?
They said something like
No,
that.
it's in Munich.
Okay, just kidding. Not down the street, in Munich.
Yeah, that's what the singer said the other day. It's in Munich, so that's pretty far away from where we were. We flew out of Munich on the way home.
Yes.
But no, it was a pretty nice trip.
Great trip.
It was a lot of work. I like packing a lot of stuff in on it.
Well, I think we're finally, or at least I'm finally settling in. I mean, the videos are done. I'm kind of back to normal day life.
Yeah, just making more content.
Just making more content.
There's a lot
Well, we
to
still
do.
have a lot of the bigger videos. I still got to do that air show video, the D810 hands-on review. That was pretty in-depth. I think.
That was.
Remember I told you we had like 80 videos I have to piece together?
Yep.
So we got to figure that out.
So we watched on the airplane an hour before we landed in Philly. We started watching the Fronos Photo Guide to DSLR Video.
Yes.
We got through the first 40 minutes, and I sat there and I was like, I would pause it after each section, and Steven's like, "Why are you doing it?" I'm like,
Yeah, you kept pausing
I just
it.
wanted to see your reaction, and honestly, the damn thing is good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good. Like, wow, I'm learning something from this. It was really good information.
And we only got through the beginner,
The educational
basic
stuff.
section.
Well, it's basic if you're new or you haven't really like. I mean, we're gonna have a whole bunch of videos talking about the guide coming out, and with Todd and I around the round table, a special like RAWtalk edition for that. But you know, it's really made for somebody like me a photographer that didn't know anything about DSLR video.
Honestly,
and
even if
did
you-
everything wrong.
Yeah, even if you know the technical aspect of it, I think it's still a good thing to pick up just because you learn about the proper way to shoot when it comes to video versus still it's different.
Well, yeah, it is. The exposure triangle is totally different.
Yeah.
You know, it affects everything differently. I used to bump my shutter speed up to 800th of a second or 1250th of a second, and I didn't know that wasn't really what you're supposed to do. And now I'm educated and I understand it, and we demonstrate it and show it to you. If you like the other guides, this one's even better. So, yeah.
I still got to watch the rest of it, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
6 hours of it.
Yeah, we got through only like 45 minutes.
Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Well, don't forget about the Ninja Star contest. I want to see your ninja-related videos. All of the information for how to enter that is on the website.
Ninja cheerleaders.
We want to see. I want to see. Oh, fine. Ninja cheerleaders. Yeah. What up, ninja cheerleaders?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I see you. I see you.
Well, you don't see them.
Touche.
I don't see you.
Oh, because they're
cheerleaders.
ninjas. I get it. Kind of like Doom. Sutter doesn't know what Doom is. Don't forget about the second annual Allen's Nikon-a-Palooza, October 18th at Allen's Camera from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be an SLR giveaway, plus huge trade-in incentives towards new Nikons via a gift card to be used in a future date. RAWtalk will be held from 10:30 to 12 with live Wheel of Fro spinnings. Sutter will be there as long as his tonsils are out.
We'll do it live.
You'll be there, as in Eckert. I'll be there, and hopefully I'll be there. I'll be there. Just call my name and I'll be there. So hopefully you guys will be there. It's going to be fun. There will be some merch for you guys to purchase if you want to purchase merch, but the giveaways are great. Hanging out with,
we have our own giveaways to do, right?
yeah, we have a lot of stuff to give away.
Like a grab bag.
Of goodies. Alan's got the whole Nikon thing going on, and I'll be in the store. If you want me to look at some of your work, I'll look at some of your work, critique it, but we'll be in the store just hanging out till it's over.
Cool.
And taco truck.
Yes.
And hopefully it doesn't rain. Hopefully it's nice weather again.
Oh, I'm praying it doesn't rain.
Last year it was really nice weather.
Was it?
So hopefully it's nice again, and drive on in. We had people drive from Canada to come to this last
Wow.
year, which was very, very cool. And some people came up from North Carolina. People came from all over the place to come to this. It's really good to hang out with other people, like-minded people, other photographers. That is definitely a good thing. So, you want to just call it a day?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That is it. You can find this at rawtalk.com/raw. How do I say it?
Fronosphoto.com.
Fronosphoto.com/rawtalk-103.
Correct.
Wow. It's been a while since I've done
It
that.
has been a while, yeah.
And that is where we're going to leave it. And that's it. Jared Poland, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.